Welcome to our first ever episode of Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess.
I'm Connie.
And in our first episode, we are kind of going to be giving an introduction to ourselves and then to our dogs and then kind of just talking about this podcast.
Yeah. So obviously, Jess, Connie, we've got our dogs Zeus and Ruby, which you may or may not be able to see based on the phone angles, but they're here. We are from the Twin Cities in Minnesota, and we're both currently just figuring out our lives, man. You know, later half of our 20s.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
Very.
Yeah.
I mean, currently, Jess is in school. She is working on being a badass. Actually, she already is. I'm just saying, you've got the BA, you've got the Masters, you've got BAM, badass motherfucker. There you go.
All right. I've never heard that before.
You're welcome.
But so, like Connie said, I am in school working on my master's, which going into my last semester, super exciting. With my MBA, before that I got my bachelor's, obviously. And then, you know, before being a full-time student, I was a full-time paramedic. So that was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, that season has passed, and that will be a whole episode probably in itself on career changing. Because there's a lot that goes with that.
There is
for
a
sure.
lot. Yeah, for sure.
It was a fun time, and so now that's currently what I'm doing. What are you currently doing?
So I am currently working in insurance. I know, super fun, like calm down. But that's where we're sitting right now. However, in the career changing episode, we will be talking more about, future plans, goals. Would like to, expand horizons a little bit.
Absolutely. You have a lot coming up, hopefully, pretty soon.
Fingers crossed if everything goes well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Applications to start and, prayers
Fingers
to make.
crossed. Yeah.
All of it. It's voodoo sage. I'll take what I can get.
Oh, I'm sure it'll go well. Hopefully it'll go well.
I hope so.
Very excited for you. So pets. So currently I have 2 pets. I have Ruby, who is here with us today, and I have a cat named Bear, who is a very big, fluffy cat that has a lot of opinions and makes them known.
He does. He is a very social cat dog.
That is the perfect way to explain it. He loves coming out. If we have a party, he has to be there. Like, he has to make his presence known. He wants all the pets.
He does. He's very happy.
Yeah. It's a very, very social cat. Definitely takes after my husband.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
And then there's Ruby trying to hurt everybody and, antisocial, which is me, so.
That sounds good. Oh, no, the pets, they're characters. So you have a cat dog and a dog cat.
Yep.
And then kind of another one maybe hanging out on your front porch.
Kind of. So not sure what's gonna happen later on because it's hard to say, but I randomly had a stray cat come and kind of hang around our house. We were going to, keep her as an outdoor cat. My husband actually surprised me with an early Christmas present where he bought this really bougie insulated cat house. And it has, separate rooms to, offset the drafts.
I didn't know it had the separate rooms.
It's bougie. It has a separate room.
Interesting, mister. We don't need another cat.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, I came to realize, she might be pregnant. And so I was like, well, she's been hanging around here a lot. She's literally here every single day at 8 a.m. ready for food. So, she's fine. I set up some cameras in our backyard and discovered that she was basically living under our back porch. And I was like, okay, well, that's probably where she's going to have her babies, right? Well, then a male cat came, and I caught this all on the camera that was outside, just came and just peed over everywhere. And she didn't really come back since. And then on my birthday, my husband was like, okay, if you can get her on the front porch, she can stay in the front porch. And the front porch, even though it's not much warmer, it's a lot warmer than being outside. You know, she's not in the wind, she's not in the rain or snow.
It's like a 3-season porch.
Yeah, it's a 3-season porch. And it's been doing pretty well.
It has been.
Yeah. And what I can say now is she's definitely pregnant. She big.
She's very big.
She really big.
You can see the kittens kicking on the cat cam.
It's really cute.
Say that 5 times fast. Kittens
No.
Kittens kicking. I can't do 2.
I can't even say it in my head.
That would be a good vocal warm up. We'll add that to aluminum linoleum.
You can do that. I still can't say that.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Yeah, she's into that. I can't talk. I think about it and just it comes out.
My brain is moving faster than my mouth, and then my tongue is moving at a different speed than my lips. It's fun. I've only screwed that up multiple times every time I've done a presentation, so it's okay. That's where you end up saying orgasm instead of organism. I did that in college.
Oh no.
That was good.
Oh no.
That was a good time.
In what class were you taking?
Political science.
Oh no.
Yeah, not my best. And the thing was, it was a legal class, and we were talking about foreclosures and forfeitures, and one of the parts had organism, and I said orgasm at a 9 a.m. class on a Wednesday.
How did everybody take it?
I just kept going.
Yep, that's good.
I
That's
just
good.
kept
Just
going.
don't even stop.
No, I didn't. I was like, nope, we're just gonna power
Not gonna
through.
acknowledge that one.
I was like, next slide. I did lose points though.
Well, there you go. That's
Right?
That's good.
Right? Sorry if anyone who was ever in that class with me sees this.
I apologize for that time a couple years ago.
It's fine. Just don't worry about it. Maybe. Where were we?
Pets.
Pets, right. So,
Now your turn.
yes. So I've got Zeus. He is my baby. I say baby, but he is a senior. He is such a spoiled pup, and it's all my fault. I recognize that. But he's cute. He's so cuddly with me. Sometimes with my husband, but he's a mama's boy, so.
Mm-hmm. Very, very cuddly dog. Likes to be cozy, by the way.
Loves it. I have never met a dog who loves pillows and blankets as much as this dog.
No.
No.
And he actually goes under the blankets, not just laying on top. He, buries himself in these blankets.
He goes into blankets. He knows how pillows work. He's
Yep.
either sitting on a pillow because that's comfortable for his senior butt, or not the same pillows we sleep on. They are different ones, and we have a washing machine that I frequently use. But you'll see him randomly with his head on a pillow just like a human would because it's comfortable. And that's where he wants to lay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about you, bud. He's currently on a blanket right now because, of course.
Very cozy.
Right.
It's a cold day outside. Gotta stay nice and warm.
It is. He does not like cold. He does not like cold paws. I don't either, though. But I mean, I could fetch when
Cold
I forget my
paws.
glove. My cold paws or my cold toes. That has been the worst. You find a cute pair of boots, because we're in Minnesota. If you are not in Minnesota and watching this, it can get really cold up here.
Really, really cold.
Really cold. There have been times that we have been colder than the South Pole. So, not this winter, thankfully.
No.
Last winter and the winter before, we had 2 days where we were negative 36, I think. Fahrenheit.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, in the next couple days, the high is going to be 2 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's that.
Fun!
This morning it was 9.
Less fun!
Yesterday it was 20. Where did that go?
I don't know. And that's what I was kvetching about. I was telling Jess earlier, I went to go put air in my tires because that's a frequent thing when you live in a cold state where the air hurts your face and your lungs and everything. And I forgot my gloves. So it got to the point where I'm like, I hope I'm not cutting my hand open because I'm trying to pinch the tire thing to
Because
open
you
it.
can't feel anything.
I could not feel my hands.
Yep.
At all. It was not fun. And that was last night when I was coming home from work, so it was probably about like 14.
Yeah. The temperature dropped real fast.
I did. And the point of all that was cold paws, cold toes, winter boots. They advertise as being warm.
They are not warm.
No, they're warm if you wear 4 pairs of socks, but then they don't fit.
And put toe warmers in your boots.
Which, nothing worse than having like overactive toe warmers, and then you're basically burning yourself. Yeah.
That brings back bad memories.
Oh, I suppose on the truck you probably saw that. Or skiing.
No, skiing.
That's right. Jess is a very good cross-country.
Used to be. Cross-country.
Yes, cross-country.
Used to be. It's been a couple years.
It is, but you were like ham on that in high school. And
it was fun.
That was. You were like Olympic buff when I met you too.
Well, I had the shoulders. I had the abs.
Yeah, but
That's about it.
You would roller into.
Oh, that's right.
What were those things called?
Roller ski.
Roller ski. There we go.
They're basically really like you're wearing your normal cross country ski boots, but they're attached to this like metal long thing that's I don't know about yay long.
So a chopped ski, basically.
Yeah, and then 2 wheels on it.
Yeah.
And instead of driving or biking to work, I would roller ski to work.
So that's a really good segue into how we met, actually. It was at our first Big People job. We worked at a local water park. She was in lifeguard, and I was in guest service. And then we didn't actually really, meet until our second year there.
I think it would have been our third, because we were supervisors at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I knew of you.
Same.
I basically pulled tubes out of a lazy river, and they were in charge of putting them back in the corral. So I knew of you, but that was about it until 2015 when she became a guest service supervisor and I became a lifeguard supervisor.
That's right, because my co-supervisor, he had a huge crush on Jess, and so he had asked me to be his wing woman to help him try to ask her out. And he's not her husband. So we ditched him, but we ended up being really good friends.
Yep. So
obviously.
Yeah. But we had a lot of fun that summer.
We did.
We went on a lot of I can't say it because there's dogs here, but WALKS. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
We have to spell certain words around here.
Yeah.
Otherwise dogs will go chaotic.
Very chaotic. Yeah, but our patrols, there we go.
Patrols, there we go.
Yeah, patrolling around the park. Honestly, we would do that multiple times an hour. Just like, all right, bye everybody. We're going to do this real quick.
Yep, we got to go do our loop.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back.
I wish we had, I don't know if I can say the name of the thing because it's a podcast, the trackers that track your health and your steps. I wish we had those on us.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine how many steps we were doing in a day?
Insane. I mean, when I say we were barely in the office, like we would get our stuff done in the office and then we would be out just doing laps or getting more water for lifeguards or
making sure they didn't die, because even though they were lifeguards, and I say this with all love, it was a weekly reminder that coffee and pop are diuretics and not what you should be drinking when it's 90 and humid.
Yeah, granted, of all of my years at the water park, I almost said the name of the place. At the water park, there was only one of my lifeguards that ever had heat stroke, which terrifying, and he was okay, but that was terrifying.
Yeah, that was that day. I think really cemented our friendship in.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh.
That day, it ended up being, so set the stage here. It's a local outdoor water park. It is a larger water park. Mm-hmm. And it's run by, I think the oldest person, not including the maintenance guy,
was
dude. I think he was 25.
25 or 26.
Because he was the same age as your brother.
That's right. 25, yeah.
Yeah, so 25, 26 is the oldest manager on staff. And then it is about, on any given day, we would have between like 80 to 130 for total park employees, I believe.
You would have a better idea than I would, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it was about that. And so it's a hot, crazy day, and I'm talking like record-breaking hot. It is one of those where you're not OUT for very long. We also have to spell that one. But that day, we ended up actually making, hi, sweetie, 5 calls to 911 for heat-related distress.
Yep.
And 4 of those were actually for staff.
Yep.
And the very last call was that lifeguard who had the heat stroke, and Jess and my co-supervisor, who at that point had become friends with us. So the 3 of us were good friends. The 2 of you guys were the ones who were actually like at the scene, and you were the one who jumped on and took care of him, thankfully.
Yep. Because the guy that was technically in charge, the manager, or whatever you want to call him, I don't know what his title actually was.
Manager.
But was it manager?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had gotten up there, and he also used to be a lifeguard. And I remember going up there, and I was like, okay, you need to help me. And he just froze.
Yeah. Were you were already a medic at this point, right? Or
I was an EMT. I was in medic school.
There we go. Yeah, because you jumped in on that really quick.
Yeah.
And there was actually multiple times during that day where we had a couple other EMT, EMR on staff. And you guys were the ones that had to jump in for literally in 1 or 2 cases. But
yeah. I just remember having talks with the manager after saying how I can't do things, even though what he wanted me to do, I tried to do, and he wouldn't help me do the things he wanted me to do.
Yeah. That was a hard one. So that was a really long day, and I just remember it was honestly one of the worst and best days at the water park. I keep wanting to say
I know, I almost say it all the time.
It was, again, the best and the worst day, because by the end of it, we were all really shaken, especially because the lifeguard that had gone down, super nice guy.
Super nice, and we didn't know for quite a while if he was okay or not.
Yeah, we knew nothing. Like, he was transported in ambulance.
Emergently to the hospital.
Yeah, like, it was bad. And of course, everyone's really shook up, and like the park was still open for another couple hours, because I think that was at like 3 or 4. It was at 4 because
it was at the later admission fees, right?
Yep. Because we had switched to twilight admission.
Yeah.
And I just remember, we get the employee into the ambulance, which unfortunately it happened at one end of the park, so I had to go through the entire park on the stretcher. And so client or people who were there, they knew what was happening.
Yep.
People in the admission line waiting for twilight prices, they could see what was happening. It was obvious there was a medical emergency. And
now I know where you're going with
this.
this.
Where I'm going with this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
So at this time, the co-supervisor, let's just call him Joe.
Joe.
Yeah,
cool.
We'll just call him Joe. So Joe and I, at this point, we were assistant managers, I believe, or supervisors. Supervisors. And so we get called out to admissions because there is someone who is very angry. And so we go out there, like literally this is after we just got in the office, the ambulance has just left, and we're all just coming down from like
adrenaline rush.
Adrenaline rush, because one of our friends just had a major medical episode, and it was scary.
Yeah.
It was very scary.
I mean, the term heat stroke, it looks like an actual stroke. So, I mean, like, his face was droopy. He was slurring his words. He also was going in and out of consciousness at that time. You had to beg him, didn't you? I had to use the BVM on him and breathe for him for quite a few times, because he would go unresponsive and then stop breathing. Yep. And I remember when the medics came up, they were coming up the tube stairs to go.
Because of course it's at the top of a water slide too.
Couldn't have been anywhere else.
Could not have picked a worse spot in the entire park.
Yeah. I just remember they were coming up, and I'm like, oh, good, you're here. As I'm begging him, he's like, what is going on? Because they don't, I'm not the one that called 911. It would have been you or Joe, right? Or was it someone else?
Manager. I can't remember
Was
if
it
it was
manager? No, because manager ran down with me.
No,
or was it Joe?
No, it was actually concessions manager, our friend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she called
Okay.
because Joe ran with you and
That's
manager.
Right. Yep.
And then
I forgot he was behind. I thought he was going to pass out, so I'm like, you're staying at the bottom of the slides, buddy.
Oh, he came to me while you were up there working on him, and Joe was pale. Like, the only time I'd ever seen him that pale is when we talked about water birth while he was eating pad thai. Like, he was pale is what I'm saying. And he was like, oh no, it's bad up there. It's bad. And I'm like, okay, well thank God Jess is up there. Like, how's manager doing? And Joe's like, I don't know, it's really bad. We're gonna need to do crowd control to get him out. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me go get some staff. I'm operating under very little information at this point.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a lot of information to start, because the way we even found out that he was having a heat stroke is that one of the other lifeguards has recently broken up with ex, actually.
Yeah, she was off duty, by the way.
Yeah, she was just at the park for fun that day. And she had gone to the top of the slides and was going to go down just as a regular customer when she noticed the signs of heat stroke. And so she hopped on the radio and signaled it out to the whole park. Yep. Which, like, obviously she was distressed. So most of us had no idea what was going on. We just got a very panicked call on the radio.
Yep. So me and manager just sprint down. We grab our oxygen bag and whatever else and just sprint.
It was terrifying. So, like, you know, understand all of this, that we are 18, 19, 20, and 25-year-old, you know, running this. On top of, we had a max capacity park almost, which was several. Frick, I don't remember a max.
I wouldn't know a max. I don't know.
I did at one point. It was a large water park. And, you know, we're in charge. At that point, I was in charge of all the employees and the guests while you guys were focused on the medical stuff.
Yep.
And so when the ambulance finally takes, you know, the lifeguard away, we're just like, okay, everyone regroup back in the office real quick, because, like, we have to address everybody, because that freaked out everyone on staff.
The whole staff. Everybody.
Everybody.
Well, and who knows the rumors that were going around, too, because you get a whole bunch of teenagers and they just...
I forgot during that's when the other lifeguard went down, too. Remember?
Forgot about that. Completely. Yeah, because it was... I can't say her name, obviously, but yeah. I forgot about that.
She went down at the exact same time as the other call.
Yep.
So then the other, was she EMR or EMT?
Oh, EMR at that time.
Okay, so she ran to go take care of that one. Mm-hmm. Thank God that we had all of the EMT/EMRs on staff that day. Thankfully, that was not intentional. It just worked out.
Things are meant to work out the way that it
did, because each one of you had your own call that you had up that day.
I forgot about that.
Like, that was it. I forgot. That's right. So all this chaos is happening. I'm doing, you know, trying to do crowd control, because, like, with a car crash, everyone slows down to look. When a medical emergency is happening, people crowd around.
Yep.
And they try to take pictures. Like, that was a big thing. I remember telling my employees, I'm like, hey, your biggest job is to make sure that the medics can get to them. And also, you interfere with every single person taking a video or a picture, because this is someone in a vulnerable moment. That does not need to be online.
Yep.
And that was a lot. We had to stop people from doing that all the time. What the hell?
That day was crazy.
That was crazy. It was nuts. Oh, I didn't even, sorry. The point of all that was, so as you can see, obviously, it was a hectic day. Still feeling emotions from that, 8 years later.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, it was an insane day. And so flashback to, we're going to Twilight Prices now. And my co-supervisor, Joe, and I get called out to the admissions booth because someone is mad. This woman, I can still see her. She had her blonde hair back in her high pony, her designer shades, her black swimsuit, her bikini, her overlay, or her bag, her bikini overlay. She goes, no joke, she goes, I know that you had a medical emergency, But I had to wait. What are you going to do for me? But just like that, I remember it so vividly. I had to turn my back, and I turned to Joe and I went, "You handle it."
I'm done. I can't
Handle
do this.
I was like, if I had handled it, I would have said something mean.
I would have lost it. I would have lost it.
Joe almost lost it. He's very calm.
He's very calm, put together, very neutral.
Yeah, and he almost lost it. Like, that is just how rude and entitled this woman was. And so I'm sure he just said, like, give her a $3 coupon. But I was like, oh my God. Okay, whatever. But again, then we go back to the office, and after addressing the staff, which everyone ended up actually staying late that day, like even people who had clocked out, ending at that twilight shift mark, they were not working still. They clocked out. We did not make them work while not being paid. But no, they just hung out in the break rooms because everyone
no one wanted to leave.
Yeah, everyone was like, we want to stay until we get an update on what happened to him. The girl who went down at the same time as him, she ended up being okay, did not need to go in the ambulance.
Nope. And actually, fun fact, she is a paramedic now.
Really? Good for her.
I ran into her a couple times at a certain hospital that I won't mention now, but I've seen her quite a few times. So
good for her. Oh,
so she's doing good.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah. No, that was a chaotic day, and eventually, of course, we did end up sending everyone home. We didn't get an update though until I think like 7 o'clock. That was 7:30.
Probably past that because he ended up coming back.
He did. That's right. No, he came back when we were counting out for the end of the night.
Oh, that's
doing the books. Yeah. So 7:30.
Yeah. But that was probably the cleanest the park has ever been, to be completely honest. Everyone's like, I'm going to stay, but I need to be doing something. And so everyone just went around the park and were like, rearranging the chairs, making sure they're all like put back in the right place. I mean, that's the straightest that those chairs have ever been. The cleanest. Like, there was no trash in sight anywhere.
No, I thought I saw someone cleaning the trash bins themselves at one point.
I would believe it. Probably.
Yeah, and even the maintenance guys hung out, and they were ones that, like, they didn't really interact with us mostly because their shift started at, like, 6 a.m., so...
They interacted with lifeguards a lot.
Yeah, because of the trainings.
Yeah.
But, like, even they stayed. Like, everyone stayed.
Yeah.
And it was nuts. And so when he did come back after he was released from the hospital, like, that was just such a relief of, like, oh, thank God he's okay.
Yeah. Because I remember just that panic of, like, the next day I was supposed to leave super early in the morning for a mission trip.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And I told my mom straight up, I'm like, I'm not going. I can't go.
Yeah, because we still had projected high heat days for the next week.
Yeah, I was like, I really can't go. I ended up going because I think you all were like, go.
Yeah, I did
like,
remember
no.
I remember Joe texted me. He's like, we have to make sure Jess goes. Like, she wants to stay. But girl has been looking forward to this trip. And I'm like, okay, yes, we'll tell her. But, like, that night, the cementing friendship part was really that night. Supervisors from every department, we all went to Denny's.
The 24-hour diner.
24-hour diner. And we sat in one of those big corner booths because there was, like, I think, like 6 or 7, 8 of us, maybe.
It was us, Joe, manager, concessions, and maintenance. So at least six of us.
At least 6, yeah.
I'm probably forgetting someone. It's been a couple years, but
it's been a couple, yeah. But we all sat down, and I just remember we got our food, and none of us are talking. And Joe is sitting to my right, and he just starts laughing. And we all just go, what the fuck just happened?
What was today?
Oh my God.
Trauma responses.
Yeah, because we were all just like, oh, and we had to be in bright and early the next day.
And I was leaving for my mission trip at 4 a.m. I had to be at the church to start the big drive. We went to Texas that year.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that was such a chaotic... That day was referenced back many times, both by us in our friendship and by HR and safety management. That day, Oh, there was I'm just gonna call him Jeff, was the county-wide safety
Sure.
manager, and whenever there was an incident, if an ambulance was called to the park, we had to alert him because he did all the liability stuff. And so by the fifth call that day, Joe and I had his cell phone memorized.
I bet. Yeah.
And I remember I was the one who called him on the very last call. And was I on the phone with him when the second person went down? I don't remember. I don't think I was. But I just remember, the second person went down after I called him, so I had to call him back. And his voice, he went,
So there's another one.
yeah, I didn't even say that. He just answered my call and he goes, dear God, what? I'm like, you're not going to believe this. Another one just happened while the first one's happening. EMS is on the way. We'll have an incident report for you tomorrow.
I remember handwriting my incident report because manager wanted a handwritten, like, what happened.
Yeah.
And it was, like, several pages long. And I was writing it on the way down to Texas. I was in the back of the car.
I remember who the other person was. It was the other girl, lifeguard supervisor. I think she was there too.
There that day?
I think she made it to Denny's with us because she was definitely there in the morning.
Oh, this was the first year. It wasn't me and big macho man guy yet.
No.
That's not making fun of him, by the way.
No, it's an apt descriptor is what it is.
I was thinking it was him. I forgot about that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No. He was the next year.
He was the next year, yeah.
We did have a couple of bad days with him, but, like, not with him. Like, he was a part of the staff.
Of bad situations.
Yeah. But nothing ever topped that day, because that one got brought up in safety meetings when we'd host the county commissioners there.
We all nicknamed it Hell Day.
Hell Day. Yeah.
That was an accurate name for it.
It was. It was such a bad day.
It was
I
a
think it
really
was
bad
July 17th, 2015 is what comes to my brain.
You said it so many times, I believe you. Like, for years, you kept saying, this will never top July blah, 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 blah. And I
I'm
was
pretty
like,
sure. July 17th, 2015. But because I had to write it on so many incident reports, too. And, like, I reference back because this was such a day that it got flagged not only to our manager's boss, but the boss's boss and the boss's boss's boss.
that was a bad day.
That was a bad day. But again, we went through shit together, and it was kind of like, oh yeah, we're good friends.
Yeah. Now we got a lifelong friendship out of it, so. Because it's been 9 years now.
9 years, yeah. Oh my
Crazy.
God. Yeah, we could do so many stories on the place that we worked.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It was an entertaining place to work. I mean, summer, high schoolers, and college people, and lifeguards, swimsuits, guest service people. We were constantly going back and forth. There was so much drama.
So much drama.
I just remember I would, like, come into work some days and be like, this person broke up, so they can't be next to each other in the rotation, so, but these people are fighting.
There were so many mornings I'd come in and you're staring at the blackboard or the whiteboard going, I can't put him there. Damn it. My whole rotation is off.
Oh, yeah, because you can't put too many new people next to each other, but then if there's drama going on with the experienced people, you're like, well, it's not. Try to shuffleboard.
Wasn't it actually one of the new girls who caught the infant baby? Was that on Hell Day? No.
That wasn't on Hell Day because I wasn't there.
Oh no, that was with
that was when I was on.
Guy. I think
Was
that was
it?
the next year. Because somehow 2 new people ended up on the infant pool.
Oh.
Uh-huh. But thankfully she was watching because a parent, you saw a lot of different types of parents working this job.
Hover parents. Parents that saw us as daycare.
Yep. And that group was the most dangerous. Because this was one where it was baby. Like, sitting up. Obviously not a newborn, but like, young baby, not running around.
Mm-hmm.
In the infant pool, which granted is, I think like a foot deep, not even 2.
I think it definitely gets to, like, right below. Well, it does go above my knee in the deepest part.
Yeah, which is not deep. It's not.
No.
Point of that was, mom and dad didn't pay attention to baby, and new guard saw baby face down in the pool floating. That was a bad day.
I don't remember who it was, but I remember coming back and hearing about it the next day.
Yeah.
Because whatever it was, I worked the day after. I didn't work the day during. Because they were like, oh, Jess, you already know this. And I'm like, baby, what? No?
No.
Someone catch me up, please.
That was a scary one, getting that call.
Yeah.
No, because I want to say that happened during a shift change between me and Joe, too. Where we were just like, oh my God. Like, what is happening? And, like, thankfully, baby was okay. It, you know, the CPR got them moving enough. Like, we don't know how long that they were flipped under. Yeah. But thankfully, I don't even remember which new guard it was. She ended up doing a really good job because I remember she ended up being a part of a couple other emergencies. And the sad thing is, I have a high opinion of her, obviously. I would not be able to recognize her unless I saw her in a bikini.
I mean, that's pretty much any lifeguard, though.
That would happen all the time. Like, I'd see them when I'd be doing PSEO, and, like, we'd both look at each other, and it's like, okay, I'm imagining you naked, but not in a weird way, with, like, swim trunks. You're a lifeguard! And they look at me, and they're like, khaki booty shorts! And I'm like, well, they're not, well, yeah, with my shape, yeah, kind of, but, like, yeah.
Yeah. That's like, when me working as a full-time medic, I brought a patient into the hospital, and one of the scribes was one of my old guards, and I was like, oh my gosh, hi. And he's now in med school, so
good for him. He also did good on several emergency calls. Yeah. Hell of a way to build up a friendship and build up job skills, by the way. For
absolutely.
A bunch of, like, I think the youngest on staff that I was aware of was 14, but I think they were in concessions.
I think so, 15. Yes, because it was someone's sister, right?
Yeah.
One of the lifeguard sisters, yeah.
Yeah, because they couldn't do anything with cash register. Yeah. I remember that being a problem. It's like we'd have to go fill in.
Yeah, I think the youngest for us was 15.
I think 15. Which,
or
like,
16.
That's impressive. 15 or 16-year-old is the one who's, you know, in charge of people's lives.
It's kind of scary thinking back. Like, I remember being like, this is the best job ever, but oh my gosh, I didn't understand what it was until you started. But that's like what, I could say the same thing about being a medic.
Yeah.
Even going through all the school, like, they prepare you as best you can, but you don't know until you're in a certain situation how you're going to react.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's how I have learned with myself. I'm like, okay, I can get myself moving in those bad situations purely because I had to respond to several with you and with the other lifeguard supervisors. But it takes me a second. Like, I am not quick to move because I'm just so stunned. Yeah.
Yeah. I am very thankful that I'm always quick to move, quick to figure something out. That's one of my proudest skills, I would say, is trying to figure things out on a flip of a switch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Girl, I have seen you make do with so little in moments, like, besides just medically, where it's like, okay, this is not ideal. Oh, Jess already has it. Okay, cool. We're good.
I am great at that. Like, in October, actually, one of our friends got married up north, and we were in cabins with them, and I remember my husband went to get his jacket, and all of a sudden here, oh, shit. And I'm like, what happened? So I run over, and he was putting on his, what are they called? Sports coats? Sports jacket? Blazer? Yeah, whatever you want to call them.
Jacket.
Yeah. One of his buttons popped off. And he couldn't find it, so that was the first scramble. So we found the button, and then I was like, okay, well, I didn't bring up any, like, sewing, like, I didn't bring a sewing kit with me. So we go, and the two people getting married are doctors. So I was like, hey, do you guys, on the off chance, have a suture kit with you? They started laughing, they're like, no, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, Mitch's button just fell off of his jacket. Not a big deal, it's fine. And then so I'm like looking around for something, literally anything that I could just sew in or something. And then I was like, oh, in the other cabin, they pop champagne for mimosas. So I quickly ran over there and took the wire that's on the top of the champagne bottles and went and got that, and just kind of cut it off and used that to get the button to go back on.
MacGyver.
Yeah, it's kind of my superpower.
It is a superpower, which I've told other people, because just obviously you can tell we're close friends. We were each other's maid and matron of honor for our weddings.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was her maid of honor in October 22.
22. Yep.
22. And then she was my matron of honor just last month, actually, December 23. But a large part of me picking her as my matron of honor, other than obviously very, very good friends, I told my mom, I was like, okay, I'm so confident about my wedding party because I know everyone can take care of shit. And I know that with Jess as my matron of honor, I don't have to worry about anything because she will pivot and take care of it before I even know something's wrong.
I'll tell you after.
Yeah.
That was always the plan. And that's why you wanted Mitch as an usher too, my husband. She's like, I know he'll just take care of whatever, and then we'll laugh about it after.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it.
That was exactly it. I was like, no, there's a plan. Because I was telling my husband, I was like, okay, no, Mitch will be an usher, and then your groomsman's wife will be the other usher, because between the two of them, I know they can handle anything with the rest of the wedding party is downstairs getting ready for everyone coming in.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, there's strategy here. We like competency. That is good.
Luckily, I mean, they didn't have to do anything. It went so smooth. I can say it now that it's over.
Yeah. Oh, no. Leading up to it, though, I was like, oh, my God. How is this going to go? Because there's, like, some family dynamic stuff where, like, certain people haven't seen each other since certain events. And, like...
Yeah. But everything went great. I mean, there wasn't any... Well, there was drama, but it was fun drama.
It wasn't even drama. It was chisme. It was gossip.
I was so for it. Me and her cousin...
Oh my God.
We were just like, we're gonna go check things out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, we can talk more about later episodes where we talk more about weddings, but I will say you should do yourself a favor if you are a bridesmaid or groomsman and you're single and you are looking to connect with someone in various levels. Let the bride and groom know, because we will match you up if we can. We will try to hook you up and play matchmaker. It's very fun that way.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. And apparently all the guests knew it too.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Well,
they didn't know what had happened exactly.
But they knew something was...
Oh yeah, when I was talking to my cousin, she was telling me, she's like, oh yeah, my mom was asking me, like, by the way, what was up between that bridesmaid and that groomsman that were doing the googly eyes the whole ceremony? And I was like, oh, what'd you tell them? She's like, oh, I just said they exchanged socials. I'm like,
I mean, yeah, I'm sure they did.
They did. I'm like, I thought it was awesome.
Oh, yeah, no, I loved every minute of it. I think she forgot the part where I'm also married. Because afterwards she came up to me and she's like, I am so sorry that I stole your partner for the wedding. I was like, oh, girl, I'm married.
My partner is the usher.
I know, I'm like, he's right there. He's mine. You shoot your shot. You go for it. Like, I'm all here for it. I'm here for the drama. But I'm good.
I'm very curious if they did go on any dates. Oh my God. No, it was so much, like, literally that was it. And it was just all in good fun. Like, literally everything that day, thankfully, went really well.
Yeah. And even that was just fun for, like, everybody.
Yeah. And, like, no one was offended or anything.
No.
The two of them were like, well, if you're going to make out with somebody, make sure the door is all the way closed.
I know. Like, that was a
life lesson.
Yeah.
It was a fun day.
That was a fun day. But we will get into more wedding stuff in future episodes. So we've got, what do we have coming up? We have How We Met Our Husbands, and we'll talk about weddings and how we got engaged and stuff like that. And then we have a whole one just on weddings versus, Connie had a more traditional wedding, I guess you could say.
We did, like...
You did a lot of the compared to what I did. I eloped. Me and my husband eloped.
Yeah.
So when you compare the two, you had more of the traditional.
We had to
I had
send
the
out
minimal.
the save the dates,
Yeah.
do all that. Yeah, no, very, very different. But we're both like obviously intimately involved in each
Oh,
other.
absolutely.
It's a really unique. We both have a perspective on it. So you know, for future brides and grooms out there, highly suggest listening to that episode because there's
Absolutely.
a lot of advice that you know I really, really wish my husband and I had thought about during our planning stages.
For sure. Yeah. So stay tuned because we will get to it eventually. It's in the outline. So.
It is. But
Right.
of course, this is navigating the randomness, so we are not going to tell you what exact episode that'll be because
I really don't know.
we'll get there.
We'll get there when we get there.
We will, exactly. So, you know, that we bounced all around.
Yeah.
Dang. So, good time to start talking about dogs. You want to just go ahead and start on Ruby?
Yeah, sure. So, Ruby has had quite an interesting life. To put it the nicest, easiest way, she has been very, very unhealthy, basically. So we did start a TikTok for her. It's called Jess and Ruby, or the @ is jess.swan06. And so there we've kind of been sharing her meningitis journey. She's had meningitis a grand total of 4 times, which is absolutely insane.
I had no idea dogs could get meningitis until Ruby got it.
Yeah.
No idea.
And then even after that, I was like, cool, one and done. Like, she made it through, we're in the clear. Well, then she relapsed and relapsed and relapsed.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't enough, she has been hospitalized a couple times, one for sepsis. Another time was, we think that was caused by a UTI that we didn't catch because she had UTIs basically every other week. This dog does not like peeing anywhere except for her own yard. Except for now, she'll pee in their yard.
She and Zeus, they just have their moments where they pee together.
Yeah.
It's bonding.
I guess so. You peed literally side by side. Let's not try it out, though.
No. There's probably a couple's toilet somewhere.
Oh, I don't even want to think about that.
It's gotta be European. It's gotta be European.
That's so weird. Please don't be a thing. Everything's a thing, but please don't be a thing. Anywho, so that's what we're assuming the sepsis was caused by. We don't know for sure. We'll never know. The other time she was hospitalized, this was more serious. That time was only overnight. This time she was in the ICU for 4 days due to a medication reaction, which was very, very scary. And luckily, you know, stars aligned just right. And I brought her to a teaching hospital, which is also where her neurologist is. And one of the residents that had been put on her case was researching that specific medication. And she's like, hey, I know this is rare, but there is a potential chance that this is this medication. And if we don't stop it, it's going to kill her. So neurology was able to come over across the hallway, come and see her, evaluate her, and was like, okay, I mean, let's take her off and see what happens. And she started turning around after 24 hours. So
I was going to say, it was quick. Yeah, that's insane. This, like, the way you had described it to me at first was this is like the rarest of the rare of the rare to have this side effect. Yeah,
like it's so rare that the neurologist didn't even know about it. And they were the one that put her on it, and they didn't know about it.
Yeah, and like no hate to them. Literally,
no.
Like it's that rare, and it just so happened that the med student that was there was specifically focusing on it. Yeah, like that is just insane. Yeah, like I said, all the stars aligned. We were meant to be there. If it was any other circumstance, she would not have made it because no one would have linked that medication to this reaction. Yeah. No, she was... Yeah, that was a bad time. I remember you sending me the updates and she was not looking good. This was also, fun fact, during midterms. Oh, yeah. You tend to have interesting things happen usually during your finals or midterms. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember
one of my poor professors, and one of my friends was also in the room, that the guy that you nicknamed Army Guy.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're watching, hello. He witnessed this, but I basically, in my accounting midterm, I was doing everything right, and all of a sudden I got so lost, and I got so distracted because of what was happening with Ruby, that I just got so sidetracked and I couldn't figure out where I went wrong, because I tried to just tweak something, which he told me not to, and I did, because he said you're going to get lost and not know where you messed up. So I basically had a breakdown in the middle of doing this midterm. And I asked him to go get another test, and he's like, well, I already put him in my car, but I'll be back. I'll be back. It's okay. I'm like, just trying not to like fully start crying.
Yeah.
Those are one of the couple times, I was going to say few, but couple times in my life where I've actually felt insane.
Mm-hmm.
I was past my max.
I feel when he was having his health struggles and we're not, finding out what it was.
Yeah.
And I was dealing with someone at work persnickety over, it was something like a $5 discrepancy over
Of
6
course.
months.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember feeling like I was going insane because I'm like, I feel like my world is ending and you're yelling at me over
$5.
$5? What is real right now?
Yeah. It's literally at that point, anything can set you off, though. It's just, it takes one thing and then you're just, the whole world is
right.
gone.
It's as simple as your hairband snaps or you put your ponytail in and it's pulling 2 hairs too tight.
Yep.
Oh, look, over the edge.
There you go. Yeah. So,
thankfully, I mean, you have TMJ. You are a dog that has TMJ. Oh my God.
yeah. Ruby's jaw cracks when she yawns. Most times. Sometimes not, but most times. And I have TMJ, so.
There's a running joke that our dogs are very much a lot like us.
No.
Unfortunately, in some ways.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
no. I mean, obviously, she's doing good.
Mm-hmm.
And
she's doing great now.
A lot of her health stuff, which I know you talked about the hospitalizations, but her health overall, minus those incidents, really started turning around when Jess switched Ruby over to raw food, which is a large portion of what the Jess and Ruby TikTok is.
Yeah.
It's talking about raw food for your dogs.
Yep. It's something that I will continue to advocate for. I had been doing research since the first time that Ruby got sick with meningitis, and the raw food came up, and I was like, well, I don't know much about it. I'll put it on the back burner, maybe one day. And with all the medications that come with meningitis, which is prednisone, and if you don't know prednisone, basically not great, but it treated the meningitis, but caused huge weight gain.
Yeah.
Among a lot of other side effects, but we can go into details in further episodes on that.
But, like, when she says huge weight gain, we mean, like, massive. Like, think as
Massive.
a human, you'd be putting on, like, what, an additional 50 to 80, 90 pounds?
Could be, yeah. I mean, so she got put on prednisone for the first time when she was 7 months old. And I remember, she became slightly overweight. And then the next time she got meningitis, she put on even more weight. And a lot of things happened. And then one of the vets that I was seeing that wasn't very good basically just shamed me from letting her get that obese. And when I say obese, she was obese.
She was big.
But, like, it's not like I wasn't trying. We were going out daily on WLKs. And I had tried every diet dog food out there. If it's out there, I tried it. And even the prescription stuff, we tried it. And she would eat, like, 1, maybe 2 bites for an entire day. I would still bring her OUT and nothing. She would just keep gaining weight. It was insane. Mm-hmm. She got up to 75 pounds. And this is an Australian cattle dog collie mix. So
they're not supposed to be 75 pounds.
No, at most, you know, a healthy weight that her neurologist deemed for her, that's her goal weight, is 50 pounds. So we were a long way from that. You know, 25 pounds isn't anything to scoff at in humans, let alone dogs. Mm-hmm. You know, they're so much smaller, so that is a much larger percentage for them to lose. I know I figured it out at one point, but it's like, imagine 5 pounds to them is probably close to, you know, 15 pounds to us. Something like that. I would have to go back and do the math. But it was like almost as soon as I started her on the raw food. I had done research for about 1.5 years just to make sure I didn't mess anything up. I was so scared of messing something up.
Girl, you went ham on all that research. By the way, when she says research, she doesn't mean like, oh, I watched a quick YouTube video. No, it was looking at the YouTube, following vets, following nutritionists, like doing the calculations out. I've seen her Excel spreadsheet, like legitimate research here. Okay?
I love my spreadsheet.
I love your spreadsheet. It's a good spreadsheet.
It is really good. But it took a long time to get it to what it is now. And yeah, but once I switched her to it, honestly, the weight just started to melt off. And we're coming up close to 2 years now, and she is currently 53 pounds on the dot.
Yay!
Yeah.
That's really good.
Really, really good. So she's lost a grand total of 22 pounds, which is insane. And I've seen so many additional health benefits for her that I'll never not have a dog on raw food. I can't do it.
No. Like, we were just talking even before this podcast, like Ruby, being the breed mix that she is, like she's always been higher energy, but on the prednisone and on the kibble and with the meningitis, she was a shadow of her former self, like no energy.
No.
And then with the raw food and getting healthier, her energy levels were even more than the 2 weeks that you had her when she didn't have meningitis.
Yeah.
Her coat is softer. I mean, overall, I feel like she's gotten somehow smarter. It seems like there's less brain fog.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, granted, when you're that overweight and on that many medications, I'd have brain fog too.
Yeah, that's very true.
But yeah, so she is just thriving on this medication. This diet. She's thriving on the diet. Her last day of medications was July 1st of 23. Mm-hmm. So it's been 6-ish months? 6 months? A little longer? Yeah, whatever the math is. So probably a little over 6 months now, which is great.
That's really good.
Yeah.
She is doing very good.
Very good. Lots of loose skin. But that's okay.
With how much weight she lost.
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah.
Oh.
So.
But it's been adjustments. And on the Ruby and Jess TikTok, Jess and Ruby TikTok, there we go. Jess has put up videos of her meal prep. And it is, truly raw food. So it is really interesting. Highly recommend you check it out. And she's also helped me get Zeus on it's not fully raw, it's cooked. Mm-hmm. But Zeus started having health issues in the last 1.5 years. Yeah. And he just developed a poultry allergy out of nowhere, which, as it turns out, poultry is actually one of the most common dog allergies. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Most common, but yet, why do they use chicken fat in everything? Mm-hmm. Even the ones that are allergen-free, a lot of them have chicken fat in.
Mm-hmm. Or they don't list it as chicken or poultry, they just say natural flavoring, which has not gone well for him. So he developed that allergy, and he got sick, and he got thin. Like, at his prime, he was 60 pounds. And he was down to, I think, 46.
40. Yeah, I think that's probably the lowest that I've heard you say.
And we didn't even have him weighed at the absolute lowest.
Well, it's the same with her heaviest. We never weighed it.
But, like, it was really scary. Like, there were several points where he started hiding from us, and he wouldn't eat, which for anyone who has ever been around animals, you know that that's usually signs that they're coming towards the end. So, that was not a good time.
No.
But Jess helped me start getting him into raw food. And we tried raw for a while, but I didn't realize it was a poultry allergy he had at first. So I'm still doing like chicken breast.
Yep.
Didn't go well.
No. The biggest thing with this diet, I mean, the biggest part that I like is that you can adjust every little thing in this food.
You know exactly what's in it.
Yeah, and you can tweak things. So, like, if, you know, I notice one thing, well, I might increase the bone percentage. Raw bone, by the way, do your research.
Do not do cooked bone.
Nope. Or, like, I decided to lower the liver percentage that I'm going to give her and increase the secondary secreting organ because that's how her body responded and it worked better. So you get to tweak these little things, which you're not going to do in kibble at all. It comes the way it comes, and even though they have ingredients on the back, you don't know what's in there.
No, it's... No, and he has seen an amazing improvement since switching over to the food. That being said, with me cooking for him, I didn't do it right the whole time. And I was definitely spending more than I should have.
It like physically hurt me when you told me how much you were spending. I'm like, oh, for a month, that's not bad. And you're like, oh no, that was for a week.
Yeah,
oh, that hurt
me down to a week. I was like, oh, no, it was not great. But now we've gotten it under control, and now we're trying a pre-cooked, basically the same thing I was doing, but it's just done by a different company. And we tried him on that food before, and it did help. But what I didn't realize is that it had pork. One of them was a pork recipe, so we'd alternate beef and pork. And turns out,
with gastritis,
which is what he kept having,
pork is not your friend.
Excess fat became a problem.
Yeah.
So pork is out. I don't give him any of that anymore.
Yeah. And it's going better.
It's going a lot better. Yeah, he's doing really, really well. So we're still in the transition phase between me cooking for him and this other, prepackaged food, but it's going really, really well. But he just turned 11 not that long ago. And besides just a little bit, with his eyes being old, he's completely healthy.
Yeah.
Like
he's doing great.
Arthritis, there is no cancers, nothing. Like, it's been absolutely awesome. And it's been ever changing. So, if you're thinking about getting your dog into raw, obviously we highly, highly recommend it. But it does take a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of adjusting, and you do need to make sure that your dog is getting enough nutrients, because that is also something that people don't think about, just how much they would need to eat in a day.
Yeah. So if you're going to start going down the rabbit hole or just want to see what it's about, I have 3 people that just come to my mind instantly. I know all of them are on YouTube, and I believe they're also on TikTok and like Spotify, podcast, stuff like that. So Dr. Judy Morgan, number 1, I love her. I love all of her stuff. She has taught me so much. She's incredible. The second one is the BK podcast. They do a lot about like how to transition, what you can do if you want to keep kibble but want to add stuff to it, and then Paws of Prey, which they are the big one.
And it's PAWS of PREY.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Just
Paws,
making sure it was
Prey.
Paws.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. It is. She has like ferrets, cats, dogs. So she feeds all of them raw. So yeah.
Wow.
Very, very incredible. She's a vet tech. I'm not sure if she's in vet school or not. I could be mixing her up with someone else, but she really does an amazing, amazing job on this is how you balance. These are different types of ways that you can balance. This is what this specific organ does. And if you're seeing this in your animal, try this. And all of those, absolutely love them. And could not recommend them more. I love them.
No, we can put them in the bio as well.
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah. No, it definitely takes a village, which is awesome, because you have created an international village, really.
It's been really fun. Yeah. I was always told that the way the first neurologist told me how they explained how uncommon/common meningitis is she's like, it's not really common, but it's not really, really uncommon. So what does that mean? I don't know.
It's wet, but you're not wet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, it's common enough that people have heard of it, but not super common to where everyone has heard of it, is what I kind of gather from that. But essentially, I was learning alongside the vets. The neurologists, they do their best. They're very knowledgeable. They do an amazing job. I am in no way bashing them because they do an incredible job. But there's not a lot of research at all out there on meningitis. And so a lot of my appointments with neurology was really just going back and forth with them saying, I mean, she's doing good at this dosage. Maybe we should keep her on it a little bit longer before we wean down. Or, this wean down dosage, she had a bad reaction. Maybe we need to slow this process down a little bit longer. And then so I felt so alone going through it the first time. And then so I made the podcast and started making content about meningitis and whatnot. And then I just got a whole bunch of people reaching out to me. There is a mom and daughter, and I know this is who you're talking about, a mom and daughter who are in New Zealand. And the mom reached out to me first because the daughter didn't have a TikTok. And so she was asking me a whole bunch of questions, and, she pops on my lives every once in a while. So it's really fun to be able to chat and catch up with them. Our time zone difference it's weird, but but it's really fun because her daughter recently made a TikTok too, and so I follow her, so I'm able to see their dog that had meningitis and unfortunately did relapse, but we think it might be due to getting off of the prednisone too fast. Like, you should really be on it for at least 6 months.
That was her second relapse or third?
That was her. So the first time was fine. The first relapse, I think we did it quickly. And then she relapsed soon after that. So it would have been the second relapse.
I was going to say, because I know that was a big thing I remember you sharing in the community, and your experience of coming off the prednisone too soon caused that relapse. Because again, the prednisone, it does its job, obviously, but there are a lot of unfortunate side effects that come with it, which is why, people push, and it sounds like the vet community as well try to push getting off of it sooner.
They do, yes. The absolute minimum from what I've read, my research, do your own research, or talk to your vet. But 6 months looks to be the bare minimum. For Ruby's last relapse, she was on it for a full year. Just because we're like, okay, this dog keeps relapsing and relapsing. Don't know what's causing it, so we're going to make sure for a fact that it's not because we're ending the prednisone too soon. And it's been 6 months now, which is the longest she's gone. Knock on wood somewhere. Everyone knock on wood.
Yeah.
This is the longest she's gone without having some sort of issue. To be completely honest, this is the healthiest she's ever been in her life. And this is the most energy I've ever seen her having in her entire life.
Cool girl's got energy. Heck yeah, she does.
And I feel so bad for her now because I'm not going to be able to bring her on a WLK for at least, 4 or 5 days. I'm dealing with an Achilles issue, and my doctor just told me no more WLKs for a while, which is unfortunate. But I understand. I don't want to be put in a boot, so we're going to cool it for a minute.
Yeah. That's all good. And, if her doctor is watching, her leg is elevated. I can vouch. I can see it. She's listening.
I am listening to you, I promise. But yeah, so that's brief overview of our dogs, really.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have probably several episodes in the future going deep dive on gastritis that Zeus had, or food allergies. What else can we do? Meningitis. Prednisone can be its own.
So, lot to look forward to. Obviously, we're doing this just to have fun. So.
Yeah, and it's not going to only be about dogs. We do want to say that. We do have a lot of exciting stuff coming up, and, welcome to the randomness. We do have a TikTok, by the way, that We haven't posted anything to yet, but we have plans to. So it is Chaos Chronicles Podcast or at Chaos Chronicles Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for joining us for our first ever episode. Hopefully we will see you guys again next week.
Yeah. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great week, and let's enjoy navigating the randomness together.